viewers. Today we have Ankita. Miss. She is a phenomenal public speaker, and she has, ma'am, how many years of experience do you have in Accenture company?
This is my first year in Accenture, and before that, I had 2 years of experience at TCS.
TCS. So you have corporate experience as well, right?
Yes, yes.
So, and today's podcast is completely going to be on public speaking, time management, how this time management and stage fear you can cope up with while delivering any talk. So, Ankita, miss, you are a phenomenal corporate trainer and a public speaker and life coach. So, I mean, did you face any time management issue while delivering any talk to the audience or before? I mean, massive crowd, time management. Like, have you missed a deadline? Like somebody has told you to deliver a speech in 1 hour, and you took time to deliver that in 1.5 hour. So how? I mean, how did you cope up with that situation or thing?
Okay. So, first of all, I believe that public speaking is an experience that you deliver before your viewers. And when you speak, the thoughts that are going on in my mind, that needs to align with the thoughts that the viewers have, right? So, when you talk about time management, it is very essential that you keep your words, the way you are speaking, it must be very engaging, as well as you need to keep it very short, because these days the attention span of people is very less. Just imagine you are reading a post in LinkedIn or you are watching an Instagram reel.
Yeah.
The minute the time of the reel exceeds more than a minute, you feel that, oh my god, this is so big, why should I see the reel anymore? And if you see that there is too much text when you're reading a LinkedIn post, you tend to scroll it and move to the next post.
Right.
So, to manage time effectively, the first thing that is needed is practice, practice, and practice. That is the most important thing that I feel. So, there is a very thin line between you practicing effectively and you over practicing it. So, when you over practice, what happens is you feel very drained out. You feel that you feel confused of whether you'll be able to complete the talk within a particular period of time, whether you are talking too much. So there is a lot of elements of self-doubt that you start reciting within yourselves. And
Right.
because of which what happens when you go onto the stage, you feel confused. You feel that you'll not be able to deliver it well. So
Right.
that comes with over preparedness. And when you under prepared yourself, the same thing is mirrored. You replicate the entire same thing when you are unprepared. So to prepare and to practice within a particular limit, within a particular, you can say you set a limit of 10 times and you practice it within that. But I can give you an example. For example, when we go and sit for exams, especially in schools or in colleges, we tend to revise everything the last minute. I think you'll be able to relate to it, right?
Right.
So, are we able to hold those thoughts within our minds? No, it does not happen. The things that you have prepared a week before and or a month before, or you have been preparing it for a very long period of time, and then you are revising it a day before, you'll be able to present that in a much present that those very thoughts in a very clear and concise manner in your paper or before an audience. So, to keep your thoughts aligned with what the audience is thinking, as well as to keep it well within the bounds of time, you need to practice it over and over again. That is the first most important thing that I feel plays a key role in managing time when you are going to speak before thousands of people on a stage. Okay? And another thing is that when you're speaking before an audience, you need to find cues whether your audience is getting bored or they feel that I need to change the topic. I need to change the topic to something which is more interesting. Right?
Right.
Once you find the cue, once you gather those emotions from the audience and you change the topic or you give them a much more interesting thing to discuss on, what happens is they will not feel that the time is getting extended.
Right.
That is the number one point. So that this particular situation is applicable when you are asked to give a 2-hour speech. Okay, it's obvious that people will not have such a great attention span. Whereas the other thing is when you have a real time constraint, you are bound to finish it within an hour. So
Right.
that will come when you cut the fluff. Cut the fluff means that if I extend the words that I'm saying, for example, if I'm trying to explain you something, okay, there are various ways of explaining it.
mm,
If I keep on saying it again and again, if I keep on extending the limit of my thoughts, then what will happen is you are bound to extend beyond the time limit which is given.
right.
Right? So to limit those thoughts, the first thing that I apply while preparing is I
Mm,
write down the thoughts or I write down the points that I need to deliver before the audience.
mm,
And to do that well, you need to research the type of the audience, how diverse your audience is,
mm,
how well accustomed they are with this particular topic. Do I need to go for the basics or do I need to go for the advanced?
right.
Right? So you research the audience well and write them down very clearly. At first, when you write them down, it will be a very big chunk of paragraph with a lot of thoughts, with a
Mm,
lot of distracted thoughts within your mind. You're
right.
writing it down. Now, what happens in the next iteration when you take the feedback from a person, or maybe you have a coach, or
Mm,
maybe you are just reading it, and when
mm,
you have that feedback that you get within yourself, the next time when you sit, you'll just cut it short. And again,
right.
the third time when you sit, you'll again cut it short. So
Mm,
this entire thing comes within the tag of preparation. And
mm,
when you, the reason I'm saying to write down the thoughts is, you'll see in schools, most of the professors or most of our teachers have been giving us an advice that
mm,
before an exam, when you sit for an exam, make sure that you have written it and practiced it again and again. So there is a reason that they say is when you keep on reading a particular stuff, what
mm,
happens is you are just taking in the general idea into your brain.
right.
But when you are writing this stuff, you are mirroring your thoughts into onto a page.
Mm,
And when you go and present it, you have had numerous such feedbacks or
right.
numerous such iterative writing sessions in
Mm,
which your brain now has a very clear and concise thought process, which you are going to present before the audience. Right? So these things actually, if you very religiously practice it, it will surely help you manage the time within which you are allowed to speak. And as I mentioned, if you are given a 2 hours span, you need to make the conversation more and more interesting so that
mm,
you get to know that your audience is going nowhere. They are
right.
here to listen to you. To get that feeling that you on the stage, you need to practice it over and over again with different sets of people before you or audiences, or speak into like whenever you get an opportunity to speak. For example, today I am speaking to you. So
Mm,
before I spoke to you, I have attended many other team meetings throughout the year, for example. Okay,
right.
I have had many other opportunities where I can showcase myself. So
Mm,
to grab those opportunities and keep practicing what I can speak before an audience or how to answer those questions very well, that if you do it, that if we keep doing religiously, then it automatically comes out when you're standing on a stage.
right. You have shared the very practical thing. So, Ankita, do you think that body language plays a huge role while delivering a speech? Like how to avoid incoherent body language, right?
Yes,
While
yes. For
delivering.
example, I'll give you an example.
Mm,
And make some body gestures, and
mm,
I will take a feedback from you that what kind of cues are you getting, or what is the vibe that you're getting when I'm speaking to you. Okay,
right.
so I feel that um, you'll be able to nail your next presentation. Okay,
Yeah.
this is the first one. The second
But,
one, I feel that you are very confident and you'll be surely able to nail your next presentation. All the best to you, and keep getting feedbacks and try to improve on those and work on those feedbacks. You'll be able to understand yourself much better.
right.
And the next time you go and present on the stage, you'll be phenomenal.
Mm,
So you see the difference between I
but,
haven't prepared this set of lines that I'm telling to you.
mm,
Okay, I did it just in this instant. So when I'm doing this, if I look here and there, if my hands go here and there, okay, the person with whom you are speaking, the person is not able to understand how passionate you are when you are
right.
speaking to a particular person, right?
Right.
So this comes with a lot of mindfulness. For example, if I have a person next to me who is doing something else, okay,
Mm,
and I keep looking at the person who is on the before you, who is listening to you, your listeners basically,
yeah.
they will obviously get that cue that you seem to be distracted, right?
Right.
You are not mindful. Mindfulness means that to be in the present.
Mm,
While I'm speaking to you, I'm just speaking to you. That's
mm,
it. There's a full stop. So being mindful is very important when you are trying to align your body gestures.
mm,
Along with that, it depends that whether your face is speaking or not. If
Yeah.
I move my eyebrows, if I
Mm,
move my hands, if I'm
mm,
trying to show that something is very important, there
mm,
is a sense of urgency in between. Okay,
right.
my body gestures, my hands, my face, everything should reflect the same.
Mm,
So that is the importance of body
body
gestures.
language.
For
Right.
example, if I am very keen to speak to someone, obviously what will happen is a person who has been practicing this for a very long period of time, the person's body will bend forward. If
Mm,
I'm very keen to talk to you, if I'm talking about something which is very interesting, then automatically my body bends forward. Right?
mm,
If I sit like this, yes, hello, how are you? I think I'm doing good. How are you? Are you doing pretty good? So you see, along with the body gestures,
yeah.
my voice is playing a very important role. So
Right.
I feel that the most important thing that a person can do is to
Mm,
not treat body gestures as a separate feature.
right.
Body gestures and the voice modulation, they form a union, or you can say they overlap. Okay, these are two features of a public speaker that overlap and form a very good collaboration with each other.
Mm,
Okay? So when you inculcate both of them together and you keep practicing the same thing, then it will be very evident when you give your next speech, or you're speaking
right.
to a person over a virtual meeting, or you stand on
Mm,
stage with thousands of people, and your voice says that you are very, very confident and you are having a conversation. You are not giving a speech, but you are having a conversation with the person. Right?
mm,
So I feel that this body gesture cannot be a singular thing. It's not a singular theme. It's a duplicate theme as it forms a very good collaboration with the voice.
mm.
So
So
yes,
there
that's
has to be a very strong harmony between voice and body language and words that we deliver, right?
exactly, exactly. So just imagine that just now when you say this thing, you moved your hand,
Mm,
right? So if you hadn't moved the hand and you just kept on saying like this, you're moving and you're just keeping on saying something or the other person will never be able to catch the feeling with which you are speaking,
mm.
right?
So moving towards the another question, which is very integral. Sometimes our mind goes blank while delivering a speech because of seeing a huge crowd in front of us. Like as an instance, have you ever been in a situation that you have been told that Ankita, go and deliver a speech or go and train the audience in regard of or in the realm of how to be successful in life. Then I mean in a jiffy, not a lot of thoughts will I mean in regard of how to be successful, bombarding our mind that, oh, this one I should include or this one I should exclude. So how to deal with blank mind? I mean sometimes it occur, right?
Yes, 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 absolutely.
Mm,
I'll start with a very small example. Okay.
right.
If you ask me that, Ankita, how did you beat procrastination?
Mm,
Procrastination, I am familiar with it. You are delaying the task. You have a list of tasks to complete, but yet you keep delaying the task, thinking that, okay, this is very difficult, I'll do it later. I'll do it later. And you keep delaying it and you never do it. Okay?
mm,
If somebody comes and asks me this particular question, what will I answer? At
mm,
an instant, immediately the person is asking me this, at an instant, I don't have anything to say. I haven't prepared. What
mm.
I'll do is the easiest way is to talk about your story. For
Okay.
example, if I say, Raunak, what have you done throughout the day? Okay,
Mm,
what have you done throughout the day? Or what have you been doing for past 2 weeks? It will
mm.
be so easy for you to answer, right?
Right.
It will be so easy for you to answer. So the best trick is to narrate your own story. If you are asking me a question of what procrastination is and how to get rid of it, I'll give you an example of how I learned cycling just a year back. Most of the kids, they start learning cycling at a very young age, right?
Young age, right.
My parents tried, yes. My parents tried to push me to learn cycling every time I went outside
Yeah.
with my cycle. I saw so many people are watching me. I got nervous. And immediately after paddling 2 times, I thought, oh my God, I'm done for today. I'm going to get inside my home. Nobody is going to see me.
Mm,
There will be no one who will come and give me some weird feedbacks on what I should do and what I shouldn't do.
mhm.
So I avoided all of that. And I kept sitting at my home.
Yeah.
Okay. Every day evening, my mother used to tell me to go out and practice cycling. Every time I avoided it.
Mm,
Okay. Slowly and steadily, when circumstances changed, when I understood that the feedback that my neighbors are going to give me is just temporary, right? But once I learn the skill, it will be for life.
Right.
I'll keep it with myself. I'll use it when I need to. It will be a very good form of exercise for me. I'm going to learn a new skill. So that is the excitement that I was holding behind my mind. I dreamt of doing it someday, but I kept holding it back. With time, with the circumstances, with the urgency of the situation, I felt that no, this is the time. Otherwise, I'll not do it any time soon. So I did it. So you see, when you ask me that question of how did you beat procrastination, I narrated you a story. Whose story was that? My own story. Okay. So this is the first part of the question that you were trying to ask. Is when you do not do anything else, try to pick out points from the question and try to understand how you can weave those particular points within the story that you are saying. Once you do that, the way you are saying it will not it will not be affected by the subconscious part of your brain, by the fear, by the anxiety which is there. It will not play, it will stop playing a role. So that is the first important point. And the second part is you asked me a question that sorry, I can't recall it. Can you repeat the question once more? This was the last part of the question I answered.
Blank
And
mind,
the
like
first part is,
yeah, how to deal with blank, yeah.
yes, the blank mind. I'll give you a very simple example. Recently, I have started posting some videos on Instagram and on LinkedIn. I have started recording reels and stuff. Even though I have been doing it for a very long period of time, when I sit in front of the camera, when I see myself, I go blank at times. It happens with very seasoned speakers as well. Right? What to do is first switch off, or you can say turn the camera backwards. Okay? Do not see yourself on the selfie cam. Keep the cam reversed and try to record yourself through the back camera. Okay? Otherwise, what you can do is, for example, if you're trying to record a particular reel or you're speaking to someone over a virtual meet, what you can do is you can you can write down in a small piece of paper and write "look here" and paste it on your selfie cam, okay, or on the or on top of the laptop camera which you have. Once you do that, what will happen is I will not focus. Once I do that, I'll not be focusing on myself. When I'm speaking, I'm able to see myself on the screen, right? I'll stop focusing on that. I'll just look straight and look here.
Right.
The part which I've written and I pasted it on my cam. Okay? See, the very common feeling which we have is when we see ourselves speaking over a screen or when we record ourselves, we feel very embarrassed. My God, I'm looking so bad. My face isn't looking good.
Right.
How am I speaking? My body gestures are not good enough. Okay? So that thought, it is like a cycle. It is like an evil cycle. What happens is it goes on and on and on, and you get trapped within it. Okay? That is the reason you go blank. That is the reason when I get up on a stage, when I imagine myself that I'm going to speak before such a huge audience, what will happen is I feel that oh my God, when I was looking at my camera and I recorded myself, I wasn't looking good. I wasn't looking good enough. I have a preconceived notion about myself that I look bad when I speak. Okay, so the first thing to overcome this is at first record yourself without looking at the selfie cam. Number one, yes. You record it and then you watch it. Do not see yourself when you're recording it. You record it and then you watch it and try to get it reviewed by some coach or by some friend of yours who is very good at public speaking. Or you can review it yourself. You can see how you are improving every time you record yourself. Right. That is the number one point. Okay, to stop that fear from eating you. That is the first thing, recording yourself. The second thing is that when you are, this is the thing that I devised myself when I speak before an audience. For example, you were sitting in a room which has hundreds of people. Okay? Before hundreds of people, everybody has the tendency to have that fear, to have that anxiety, that tendency to go blank. Do you know what you have to say? Yes, you know it well. Do you know how to engage the audience? Yes, you know it well. So every question you ask yourself, the answer will be yes. Yes. Then why are you going blank? Right. First thing. The first thing to imagine is you are not speaking to an audience. You are speaking to one single person. Because the reason I'll say the scientific reason is that when a speaker speaks on stage, for example, if you imagine a political leader, great political leaders from history, who have been speaking on stages and who have made people understand what their thought process is, how they are going to change the country's vision, mission, and everything. The way they live, the way they keep their dreams ahead of themselves. So when a speaker is speaking, what happens is everyone they literally align all the minds in the audience into a single frame. To a single frame. So that is what you call uniting the audience. So just imagine that when you are speaking on stage, you are not speaking to hundreds of people. When you are aligning the thoughts of hundreds of people into one. So they are united. Their thought process is united. That is the first most important point that a person needs to remember when speaking before the audience. Second thing is, whenever I go on stage, I try to pick out faces which look very friendly, very familiar. So a few days back, when I was giving training to some faculties and students in a college, what I noticed is there were two twin sisters who were seated in the front line. Okay, I noticed that when I was speaking, some people were trying to note the things down that I was saying. Some people were trying to open something in their phone and check out that whether what I'm saying, whether it is correct or not, or they're trying to find out something else which is related to what I'm speaking. But what I noticed is those two sisters, their eyes were fixated at me. So when I was speaking, they kept looking at me. They kept understanding what is the thing that I'm trying to say. They were trying to absorb it. They had two smiling faces, which helped my mind keep, or I would say that helped me keep myself hooked towards the audience.
Right.
So whenever you get up on stage, what happens is, for example, there's an audience seated in this manner. Okay? At first, within the first 5-10 minutes, you look this side. You look this side and see whether there is a smiling face or not, whether there is someone who is very eager to listen to me or not. Okay? And then once this portion is done, you move to this portion. In each portion, you'll be able to find at least one individual who is very eager to listen to you. And those are the faces that will help you go along the entire speech or go along the entire talk very confidently. Because now you are sure that there are at least out of 100 people, there are 5 people who are very interested to listen to me. That is what will give you confidence. Right? Another thing is, first, so the points I would reiterate is, first is try to tell your story. Number one point. Number two is, yes, the second point is when you're speaking to the audience, try to find familiar faces or try to find faces that is giving you inner peace and making you more confident. Second thing. The third thing is that before you go to the stage, stop reading. When we keep on revising the stuff that we are going to speak on stage, what happens is there is a rush. Okay? You see the paper and you keep on reiterating the things that you have written, and in the next moment, you are on to stage. So you haven't given a gap for your mind and your body, your voice, your body, your entire, you can say your inner self to rest. And your body needs to rest before you are going to hit the stage. Practicing yogic exercise, yogic breathing. You breathe in, you hold the breath, and then you breathe out. Breathing through your nose, holding your breath, and breathing out through your mouth. Practicing this again and again before you hit the stage is very crucial. What happens is you are trying to keep your mind into a state of silence. Okay, breathing again and again before you hit the stage. It is really beneficial. Okay? It helps your mind to calm down and to think straight, to think in a proper manner when you are going and hitting the stage. Right? So I feel I try to cover most of the most important points. How you can be passionate on stage, and most importantly, to not hold back yourselves. Your voice has the power to inspire, to enlighten the lives of other people. So why hold back with the fear and anxiety which you have within yourself? Right? So I feel these are the biggest takeaways that I have gathered throughout these years.
Right.
and that has brought a great impact in the way I speak.
Yeah, and actually, you have shared very practical advices. And I guess five things, five most crucial things we have discussed in their podcast, which is storytelling is very important. We must be very,
Yes.
I mean, we must have a tight grip on storytelling, and our body language should be in harmony with the words and align with the hand gestures and all. So very practical and very, I mean, realistic examples you have shared, stories as well. Thank you so much, Ankita, Miss, for having this valuable time with us and
Thank you so much,
taking out.
Raunak, for having me. It was really good.
Yeah, and thank you for
Thank you.
taking out 30 minutes for this podcast. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. All the best.
All the best.
Bye.